WrestleMania Backlash is this Sunday, and if you're old like me, you'll remember that it just used to be called Backlash, and then the name WrestleMania snuck up, and someone from marketing went, oh, I've got it, put it in a cage and put it everywhere. I'm not 100% sure that WWE is treating it as seriously as they once did either, because as of me saying these words, and it's Thursday flipping morning, we only have 6 matches. You know what's going to happen? SmackDown will go by, and all of a sudden, hullabaloo! We'll have like 4 more, but I shall do my best. The point is this: make sure you go get a pad, make sure you go get a pen, or just drop it in the comments, because I want to know your predictions. And as of right now, here's mine. And we shall start with something that should be nice and cut and dry, and actually something that I'm enjoying very muchly, which is Madcap Moss trying to get his revenge on none other than Happy Corbin. Now, I've said this once, I've said it twice, so I will say it thrice. This is exactly what it needed to be. Madcap Moss gets introduced as Happy Corbin's sidekick. They fall out. Now Madcap Moss can beat Baron Corbin at WrestleMania Backlash. He should then have a little bit of a gimmick change, get some brand new music, wear different clothes, and we can start to push him as a super duper star, much like we have with Austin Theory over on Raw. Because let's face it, when it comes to the SmackDown roster, we need some new blood. And you could have Corbin win here and then go on to the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and do a rematch there, but wouldn't it make more sense for Moss to get 2 victories? I say yes, and as I am ranting and raving, nobody gives Baron Corbin the respect or the plaudits that he deserves. You can throw anything at him, any kind of gimmick or any kind of scenario, and that dude makes it work. And also, over the last few months, I think the Madcap Moss has shown a ton of potential, so let's make sure we utilize all of this and move on to whatever next, feeling like kings. Point is, Madcap Moss will win with the punchline. That's actually the name of his finishing move. And going back to the title of WrestleMania Backlash, the real reason it became this to begin with is because WWE likes to take actual WrestleMania matches and have a rematch, which is why we're getting AJ Styles versus Old Man I Love Giant Chairs. I'm talking about Edge. Now, this is a very confusing one because over the last few weeks, Edge has obviously brought in Damian Priest to the fold to form Judgment Day, and all the rumors are that he's going to bring somebody else in. Some people say Tommaso Ciampa, some people even say Rhea Ripley. Now, as of right now, neither of those people are on the show, but of course we may get Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan, and we may get Ciampa versus Ali. So if either of those 2 contests do pop up and get put on the pay-per-view, premium live event, then I don't think this is going to happen. But if they don't, or one does, meaning it would be the other person, maybe, just maybe, the reason AJ Styles loses again is because Edge goes and gets a brand new friend. And I would be perfectly fine with this, even though we did do it at WrestleMania 38, because I don't really get Judgment Day right now. I think the presentation is good, and I love Edge, and Damian Priest is great, but they start talking, and it's all just wibbly-wobbly gibberish, and I'm like, I feel like I've been invited to the wrong party. And this probably means there is extra stuff coming when I do go, oh man, I totally get it, and this is the right thing to do. It's all about the long-term storyline. So what I would love to, if we're going to fantasy booking land here, happen, is that Rhea Ripley does indeed go, oh, and she distracts AJ Styles. Edge hits the spear 1, 2, 3, and then AJ is like, well, damn it, maybe I need to give Finn Balor a call. We can do a tag team match. And I get that doesn't tie into the Ripley thing, but maybe Priest can do the final distraction. But I am going to go with Edge here. I think we are going to breed a couple of new fractions, which is what we should be doing. You have to have the bad guy going over. So I am going to pick Edge. But also, if the rated R superstar could come out on a Raw and explain why he loves that giant throne so much, I'd appreciate it. And I said throne. It's not really a throne. It just really does look like a big seat. If you went round to somebody's house for dinner and you went in the living room and see that, you'd go like, no one's actually going to sit in that, are they? And when you found out it was that person's dad, you'd probably leave. Don't know how we got here. I'm going with Edge. And there is another WrestleMania rematch going on here because Omos is taking on Bobby Lashley, although this time Omos has Umvup in his corner. Hands up if you saw that coming. And goes down. Now, the main reason I need Bobby Lashley to run through this guy is because WWE keeps teasing the fact that at some point in the future, SummerSlam, we may be able to do MVP versus Bobby Lashley. And the reason I want this so much is A, they have a ton of story there, but B, if you remember everything they did in TNA together, my word, this could absolutely rock. Especially if MVP wins. Then it's for future Simon to predict, although this one does give me the heebie-jeebies, because do not forget, Omos is a giant. He's like 7'2", 7'3". He's absolutely massive. So can you really have him lose back-to-back matches? even against someone like Bobby Lashley, and that's doubly true, because if Omos does get defeated here, then what was the point of him teaming up with MVP to begin with? It's like when Nakamura turned heel. I know I've talked about this time and time again, but he went bad guy because he wanted to become the WWE champion, and instead, they just started whacking everybody in the balls. Which is why I'm going to go in completely the opposite direction, and I think Omos is going to win. Now, Bobby Lashley is going to be screwed here. MVP's going to hit him with a cane or something like that, but then you can go on to Hell in a Cell. Bobby Lashley can win there, then it's Money in the Bank, then we do get to SummerSlam, and you can do that match I was just talking about. Also, Bobby Lashley can absolutely take a loss. He is the man, especially if there is interference. So I'm going with my dude Omos, who I still like, by the way. Stop being mean on the internet. If we were in another timeline too, this is when I would be saying to you, and then it's going to be the Usos versus RKBro to unify the tag team championships. And flub me sideways, I was so excited about this, but instead Drew McIntyre's turn up and so is Roman Reigns. We do it a six-man. Now, there were rumors with this that apparently it was going to be all the belts on the line, which would mean if Drew McIntyre pinned Jey Uso, he would become the WWE champion and RK-Bro would be the Unified Tag Championships. But one, that doesn't make any sense, but also two, WWE hasn't made a peep about this, and unless they are going to wait until Friday to announce it, well, that just seems utterly ridiculous. So let's say we don't do that, because obviously that could change the outcome massively. What really should happen here is Drew McIntyre should pin Roman Reigns. I don't care if Roman gets distracted by Paul Heyman. I don't care if Roman Reigns just goes, Usos, Jimmy J, I hate you, and I'm going to chop off your head, and then turns around into a Claymore. But if once again we are going to the hottest event of the summer, where we're doing a stadium, and our main event is Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns, you have to start planting those seeds that make me go, oh my gosh, maybe McIntyre's going to win. Even though clearly he's not. I just can't see it though, given how WWE is treating Reigns, even though that would be better for the story. So here's what I'm going to do. I am putting that down as my predictions. If you like to note down what I say, I'm saying that Drew McIntyre and RK-Bro win when Drew McIntyre Claymore kicks Roman Reigns and gets the win. But otherwise, in a more realistic place, I don't know, Riddle will pin Jimmy. And actually, nothing will happen. But the good guys have got to win here. Unless, of course, the belts are on the line, then give them to the Usos. Because having the Bloodline with all the championships would rock. I've just given you 3 predictions. Point is, I'm going with Drew pins Roman. Never going to happen. We will at least get one title change on WrestleMania Backlash, though, because Charlotte Flair is taking on Ronda Rousey in an I Quit match. And come on now, if Ronda ain't the SmackDown Women's Champion at the end of this, then you can come and find me and call me Bob. Because it's just the way to do it. I mean, it did allow us to go, oh my gosh, when Charlotte won at WrestleMania, because nobody's going to see it coming. But also, are we going to have Ronda shout, I quit? Not in a million years. I'm not saying she shouldn't do that down the line, given that she used to be a real MMA fighter, but you've got to build it up bigger than this. And also, she should probably just be the champion now, especially because the night after, I want Bayley to come back and challenge for that there belt. You ain't doing that against Flair. I do think this will be pretty decent though, because both are really good workers. The problem is the chemistry just hasn't really clicked. I felt that before WrestleMania, I felt that at WrestleMania, and I felt that way building into Backlash. However, I still think they'll be fun. I still think I will be sports entertained, which is what it says on the tin. And of course, eventually Ronda will either lock in the armbar or the ankle lock. Charlotte will be like, no, please, don't make me say it. But then she will realize her bone is about to break. She will shout, I quit. Finally, she will have got her comeuppance, which is what all good heels need. And then she can go on to another feud. Who the hell would that be? I have no idea. I mean, they'll probably do a Hell in a Cell match too, because WWE loves that. But I'm going with Ronda Rousey. And if it doesn't happen, face palm. And now you'll be saying, well, wait a minute, Simon. Why have you left this match to last? And it's simple. Given the way this card has gone, I think Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes should main event the thing. And I believe everything they've done so far has been fantastic. I mean, Seth Rollins is one of the most underutilized and underappreciated guys in all of professional wrestling. He's so damn good. And ever since Cody did return, my word, you'd have to come up with a good argument to tell me this wasn't a good idea. But so far, he is killing it. We've also tied stuff into Dusty Rhodes and WWE Championships and Cody Rhodes actually getting to his legacy. And there is a small chance Seth Rollins wins it. Now, I don't think that should happen. I think we should build Cody up like a rocket and have him challenge Roman Reigns for the WWE Unified Championship. But if you do it right, this feud absolutely has legs, and we can go on to the next pay-per-view and keep it kicking. However, I don't trust WWE to do that, because sometimes they do get distracted themselves. It's like they see a monkey outside, like, oh my gosh, and they forget to write the script. So let's just have Cody win. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world, especially if you're not familiar with Mr. Rhodes, and now you've done a bit of Googling and you realize what he used to be and what he was, and then you see him beat Seth Rollins twice, you're gonna start thinking to yourself, well, he's a good professional wrestler, maybe he should go for the belt. I also think the talent here is so high that if you do want to do another match at Hell in a Cell, you can do that. And who even cares if Cody does win 3 in a row? Just make sure you store it in the pocket, and once things have settled down a bit, you can get Seth Rollins his win back. I understand that WWE loves to do that, but let him hit the Cody cutter, let him hit the crossroads, let there be 78,944 near falls until Cody finally gets the 1, 2, 3, and then Stern's up like, well, you know what I'm going to do next? I mean, honestly, I feel like this story writes itself, which is probably why he will lose after Hornswoggle distraction. I'm still going with Cody. And like I said earlier, there are some other matches that may be happening, so if Rhea Ripley does fight Liv Morgan, make sure Rhea Ripley wins. And actually, if Ciampa fights Ali, you can do whatever the hell you want, because they're 2 guys I just want to see wrestle. If we do anything with Theory, make sure he keeps his US Championship, and it's the same for Ricochet. If anything, maybe we should start putting them on pay-per-views so we can make those belts feel like they mean something. And that's it. That's the end of the predictions. Make sure you do go into the comments and let me know what you're thinking. I always check them out. I'm always very proud of the people that do very well. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head on to whatculture.com where we will keep you up to date about all things WrestleMania Backlash. Make sure you come follow us on social media. We got a ton of other videos. A ton. Go watch one. My name is Simon for What Culture. More importantly than predictions and more importantly than anything else, make sure you enjoy the premium live event. I mean, that's what wrestling is there to do, entertain. I will see you in the wrestling sphere. Don't know what that is, but I'll also see you soon.